Hey there, how there, ho there, it's Jeff there, Diamond. Welcome to another above the rim basketball, college basketball video. This is the college basketball game that came out last week. I managed to snag it and pick up some team packs. So what I'm doing is for every season, I'm going to be doing some kind of tournament and all that. So yeah, this will be this season name, Turning Free Forming. I wonder if that comes in and then the drop down. But anyway, yeah, every one of these teams made it through in 1984. They will be randomly drawn to face each other and all that, and like a tournament of champions. I don't know how many things I'll have, but so. But yeah, like if you're in the final four, you're safe and all that. So we're gonna have a final four. So these 48 schools. Now they'll be randomly selected because I did the season rule. Oh, set playoff rounds. Oh, you can go best of seven. Um, what should I do? What should I do? Should I do like best of seven? No, I don't want to do best of seven. Um, like they'll be ran. It'll just be like a playthrough. I think I'll do best of seven. So we'll go 1-1-3-3-5-7. So it'll be best of one in the preliminary round. Last 32 1, then 3-3-5-7. Okay. You see the teams, you see the matchups and all that. First game is St. John's versus Brigham Young, and St. John's wins the one game. Okay. Oh, you have to do it that way. So St. John's beat BYU 84-83. Just to see the guys. Bill Wennington, future Chicago Bull and Canadian, by the way, and Chris Mullen, Mark Jackson on the bench for 31 minutes. But yeah, Brigham Young came close. Nobody clean. Illinois, Fresno State. Fresno with the gigantic. What is it? 20, 34. Anyway, Fresno beat Illinois 72-66. So Fresno, big win for them. 23 points from Thompson. Maryland, Oklahoma. So Oklahoma went 84-73. So a big win for them. Len Bias had 12 points. Oklahoma, Wayman Tisdale had 33. Wake Forest Northeastern saw Wake Forest win 90-63. As Garber got 22 points off the bench. Northeastern with the great Reggie Lewis, he only got 17. He led the team. UTEP Iona. So Iona win 76-67. So big win for them over UTEP. To move on, 18 from Russell. Miami Ohio Dayton sees the Redhawks win 75-73. Ron Harper, future Bull and Heat, I think? No, Cat. Bull with only 10 points in this one. Kansas first junior Commonwealth. Kansas wins the one game thing 73-69 as Kellogg was the only good player for Kansas back in 84. Virginia Commonwealth did that. Alcorn Purdue sees Alcorn State wins 73-68. Big win for them as they're a lesser school. And Purdue had nobody of note. Matt McClendon? I don't know. Tech Houston sees Houston win 78-61. Michael Young, 28 points. Hakeem with 20. Franklin with 8. Pretty good Final Four squad. Tech with Carl Malone on the squad with 10 points. I think this was the year he was draft eligible. Tulsa shocks Virginia 94-79 in a sense because it is Tulsa. Olden Polonese with 14. Rick Carlisle with 21. On the loser side. Auburn beat Oregon State 69-65 to move on. That's the team that Barkley was there, and he was on the bench for like 8 minutes. Chuck Person with 22 points. The Beavers, no one of note. Giolsti, but that's a baseball pitcher. Temple beat Selver Methodist 90-83 Stansbury, 24 points for him. 7 Methodist Concat had 21. Future NBAers. Richmond L State. The L State win, 74-67. They had no one of note. Richmond had Johnny Newman, 22 points. Duke and Memphis having the play, and Duke with the big win over Memphis. I had 10 players. Jay Bilas, 15 points. Johnny Dawkins, 15 points. Alabama, Arkansas. Damn it. Arkansas losing to Alabama. I was hoping for Arkansas to move on to the next round. Joe Klein, 20 points. Allen Robertson, 15 in a loss. And finally, North Carolina beats UNLV 90-84. They had such a great front five and all that. But, 20 points from Michael Jordan, Sam Perkins, Doherty, Dowdy. UNLV had Tarkanian, the son, coach's son. Now we go to the last 32, random. Oh, we have to go in order. There's like options. Do they? Time. 12 file games. 13 by year. Normal font. Close game factor 3-point shot. Alternate. It was 2025. Nuts. It doesn't say anything about. Yeah, it has to go. It has to go in order. You have to click in the middle. You have to click in the middle. Okay. Indiana, Kansas. You can't have that. Okay, so Indiana, Kansas. Yeah, you're in the middle. You can't have any of them be italicized. Indiana, Kansas, just for random. Kansas with the 85-70 to win, as they did all that. Indiana had Steve Alford for 14 points. Bobby Knight should be throwing a chair, probably. North Carolina, Auburn. Says NC beat Auburn 82-79. Kenny Smith back on there on the starting lineup. MJ only had 17. Auburn Person had 28. Barkley had 8. Nevada, Washington sees Washington beat Nevada to move on. Devon Shrimp, 16. Nevada, not really much people. Duke and Princeton's Princeton roll over Duke, 87-54. Jay Bilas, only 8 points. Dawkins with 18. Princeton trying their best. This is just random. Houston beats St. John's, 76-69. Young, 16. Elijah on 18. Franklin, 11. Bill Wennington was 8. Chris Malone, 14. Mark Jackson on the bench. Moorhead, Illinois State. Illinois State will move on to the Sweet 16. Nice job there. Moorhead. These two schools not really well known. West Virginia, Louisville. Sees Louisville crushed West Virginia in Divine Powder. Should go back to the days of Jerry West. Louisville didn't really have, 420 points. They didn't really have the slam dunk stuff going on. Oral Roberts beats UNLV 82-80, so they'll move on to the round of 16. 31 from Potter. Oklahoma, Marshall. Marshall wins over Oklahoma. Big win for Marshall. I mean, Oklahoma had Tisdale and he only got 2 points in 12 minutes. Well, 5 fouls, he is out like a lamp. Georgetown survives Fresno by 2 points. Patrick Ewing with 17 points. Wingate with 4. Fred Brown with only 4. They survive. Survive in advance. Kentucky Temple. Kentucky beats Temple as Sam Bowie with 15. Kenny Jet Walker 22. Mel Turbin with 18. Temple with Stansbury getting 17. Wake beats Syracuse. Big win for them. As, PJ Washington. Syracuse didn't really have the best team in 1984. Tulsa beats Alcorn 89-64 as they do that. Yeah, everything gets randomly drawn. You could have 2 tough teams play against each other and then 2 minnows face each other. Iona beats Villanova. Big win because Villanova the next year would win the championship. Presley with 12. Harold Jensen 6. Gary McLean 8. And Pickney with 8. Iona 39 from Burt. Ernie. Alabama beats Miami of Ohio 65-51, playing tight defense and all that. Only Willoughby for Miami, Ohio got double digits. And LSU DePaul wins 69-65. The team that always seemed to never get past the final hump. He beats LSU down to the last 16. Houston versus Washington. And Houston beats Washington both times, crushing it 68-47 74. Oral Roberts Duke. Oral Roberts with the massive upset, 2-game upset. So Oral Roberts will move on to the quarterfinals. 89-83. Yeah, Jay Biles and Johnny Dawkins, they're not going through to the Final Four. That's huge. Wake Forest, Kentucky. Kentucky sweep the Demon Deacons. Yeah, they're a pretty good squad. North Carolina Marshall. North Carolina sweep Marshall. Iona Louisville. Sees Louisville needing 3 games to beat Iona, so they move on. Illinois State Alabama sees Illinois State in overtime take down Alabama, so they're going to the quarterfinals. Amazing. Georgetown, Kansas. Oh boy. 1-1, and it's Georgetown how will move on 90-61. Kansas only won by 1 point in game 1, but Kansas. They do that, and DePaul versus Tulsa, they'll wrap it up. Tulsa sweeps DePaul. DePaul just can't believe it. So the first quarterfinals, Tulsa versus North Carolina, and MJ versus Tulsa. And it would be North Carolina surviving Tulsa, 96-85. So yeah, they had an overtime game. Tulsa won 94-92 in overtime in game 1. That's Perkins and Doherty foul out with 5. MJ with 31, Perkins with 26 before he fouled out. 33 from Harris, 20 from Ross. Yeah, 9-7 in overtime for Tulsa. But North Carolina survived Tulsa 91-90. Was close. 25 from Perkins, 22 from MJ, 21 from Johnson, 18 from Harris. So North Carolina doing their jobs. Oral Roberts versus Georgetown. We'll see. Georgetown survive a game. Oral Roberts won game 2 on home turf, but Georgetown won 80-75 in game 3. So, yeah, 28 from Ewing, knowing his score. Dorsey was 16. Williams 14 off the bench. Louisville, Kentucky. Oh, man, you're going to have Louisville versus Kentucky? And Kentucky sweeps Louisville 80-78 in game 2. So Kentucky doing their job. Bowie, Walker, and Turpin. Especially Turpin, 27 points. Every Louisville scorer did get double digits. And Illinois State, Houston should be easy. Houston sweeps Illinois State. So the 4 tough teams, North Carolina, Georgetown, Kentucky, and Houston, all sweep through. So North Carolina's road to it was beating UNLV in a 1-game playoff. And, well, beat UNLV. They beat Auburn, and then they swept Marshall. They lost to Tulsa. But thankfully, though, they did win the next 2. So, yeah, so doing quite well for themselves. MJ Perkins Smith. You can see all the game logs of Michael Jordan, 83, 84, but yeah. So now they got to play Georgetown. Georgetown, they beat Fresno. Well, they went to 1-game playoff, and then they had a 3-game playoff with Kansas, in which they lost game 1 but won the next 2. And then Oral Roberts, they lost game 2, so they've been 5-2 since. Kentucky is 5-1. I don't know why their 4th game disappeared. Because it was Louisville. Why did I say they're 5-1? That's weird. And Houston, 6-1, doing their job. All right, well, anyway. So North Carolina has played Georgetown in the best of 5. And North Carolina sweeps Georgetown 3-0. So great job by them. Georgetown was the national champion. So they will be technically number 3 in the 83-84 thing. Kentucky, Houston. Well, Kentucky beat Houston in overtime. I say Houston. And it is. Houston survives Kentucky in that frame of mind. So Houston must face North Carolina in the final. MJ versus Elijah one. Yeah, game two was tough. Kentucky had to win in overtime. Kentucky won game three closely, and Houston won the next two. And now we are in the final. Houston, North Carolina, best of seven. And in the end, North Carolina beats Houston in 6 games. So Houston actually was up 2-1, then North Carolina won the next three. So North Carolina, with MJ in tow, beats the Houston Cougars. All right, so that's how we work it out. The team MJ, Sam Perkins. Well, the roster. Well, the roster. Well, the stats. The stats. Well, all these guys. MJ played 16 games. Sam Perkins, Matt Doherty played 16 games. Hale, Peterson, Wolf played 16 games. Popson with 15. Exum with 14. Kenny Smith with 12. McKinnon and Morris. So they had their 12 guys compete. All that. Points per game, Perkins 20.9, Jordan 17.4, Matt Doherty 11.3. So he did his job. And that's what the stats per game were. Well, it should be totals. Well, it doesn't really matter, does it? But yeah, Sam Perkins is your champion. Yeah, what a great roster than the 83 North Carolina squad. Houston didn't do that badly either. Let's go with them. 83 84 Houston Cougars by points per game. Elijah number one. Michael Young, Franklin Winslow, and Geddes. Andrews 13. Clark played only 5 games. Giles played 17 games and didn't really. So they had 15 guys play for Houston. Okay, but that's okay. So we now know North Carolina won the championship. All right, and then you create a tournament, then you can do all that. So yeah, there'll be a lot. I'll have to be a little more meticulous with the other tournaments because they got like 1 or 2 teams and all that. So we'll see what ends up happening throughout. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond to do.